Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Okay, so today guys, I'm making a video specifically for you. If you've ever made a cake that didn't rise at all, or if you've ever made a cake that didn't rise as much as it should, so this is probably the reason why, maybe one of these reasons, probably the reason why it didn't rise at all. So first things first, yeah, maybe your baking powder or baking soda is stale and expired. Yes, so normally you shouldn't have your baking powder or baking soda at home for more than a year. If it is more than a year, it is probably expired, guys, so you should get a new one. And for you to know if it is still good, take a tablespoon of it and put it in a bowl of half a cup of water, and if it fizzles up like this, then it is still good. If it doesn't fizzle up enough, then it is probably expired or expiring, and it won't give you the perfect cake that you're looking for. So the second reason is maybe you're using too little sugar or too much sugar, guys. Like, if you're not an expert and you want to bake a cake, make sure you find a sure recipe and follow it. Don't use too much sugar and don't use too little sugar. If you want a cake with a lot of sugar, then look for a cake recipe that calls for a lot of sugar. That way you are assured of like what your final result will be. Trust me guys, sugar affects how well a cake rises. Even the type of sugar you use, white custard sugar rises higher than if you were using brown sugar. So sugar really affects how much your cake rises. So the third thing is maybe you left the batter out for too long. Let me give you an example. Let's say you want to bake a cake and you already mixed it and kept it in a pan, and then you decide to leave the pan on the table and go buy something and come back. Your reacting agents, the baking powder and baking soda, will already be reacting in the pan without even before you start baking, and which is not good for you. So the cake won't rise as much as it should. Hope you get. Okay, so the next reason the next reason is maybe you're not baking at the right temperature. Guys, the optimum temperature to bake is not 180 degrees centigrade. I see a lot of people on YouTube or on Instagram or everywhere saying you should bake at 180 degrees centigrade. Don't do that. You should bake between 160 to 180 degrees centigrade, depending on what you are baking. That's the optimum temperature for you to get a perfect cake, including cupcakes as well. Bake within 160 to 180 degrees centigrade. That way you won't get a dry cake. You won't get a cake that the oven is too hot for and didn't really rise well, and you won't get a cake that the oven is too cold for, if that makes sense. Okay, so number 5 is you're using too much or too little eggs, guys. Like, it matters. Look at these two things, these two cupcakes we have right here. If you notice, the one with the large egg rose higher, and that's because it has more percentage of egg whites in it. So the size of eggs you use matter, and if you use too much eggs, it matters, and if you use too little eggs, it matters. So this also boils down to follow a recipe. Like, know how to follow a recipe. Get a recipe that is good and follow it. Look at these two muffins we have here. I'm sure you can decide which one. You can easily tell which of these two will have less eggs and which one has more, and which one has more egg yolks and which one has less more egg whites. Yeah, because egg white lets your cake rise higher. The more egg whites you have, the more your cake rises higher, and usually the bigger the size of the egg, the more egg whites inside the egg. So I hope that makes sense. So this is all you have to do, and you have to make sure you follow your recipe. And I promise you guys, if you do all of this and do it really well, your cake is going to come out nice. So if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and like this video. Thank you.